Here we go with another toxic best friend story time. So a little background information. So a couple of years ago, I became best friends with this one girl who we're going to call Sammy. Every year her family would go on a camping trip, and every year I couldn't go. Something would always come up even if it was last minute. Well, this year finally nothing was standing in the way so I could go on this freaking camping trip, and we had literally been planning this for like 6 months. So this plan was we would go up there in the afternoon after I was done with work and after she was done with school. Well, then she calls me and she asks me if I can call off work and go up a day early with her. And I told her, no, I can't do that. I already took off a bunch of time because I was sick and for my sister's wedding. So I need the money. So after I tell her I can't go up on Thursday, I would rather go on Friday like we said, she responds with, well, we're going on Thursday and either you can take the day off and join or not. And then I told her, I'm not driving when the whole plan was for you to drive, like for part 2. Part 2 about my extremely toxic best friend. So like I said, she tried to talk me into taking off work so that way we could go up on Thursday, but I told her no, I would rather stick with the plan and go up Friday. And then she says, well, you can do that, but we're all going up on Thursday, so you're gonna have to find your own ride. And then I told her, I'm not driving up there. I don't know this place. So at that point, I was like, fuck it. If they leave without me, they live without me. I do not care at this point. And I pretty much said that. If you want to go without me, then go without me. And she called me and she was like, you're being extremely rude. A little background information on Sammy. She was a super selfish, self-centered person. And she has like only child syndrome. Every time we hung out, we had to do what she wanted to do. I was super annoyed about this because I had already planned for this vacation. Meaning I took the time off work, I rearranged my whole schedule, and now I don't really know if I want to be friends with her. What do you guys think?
Once I got my sister's boyfriend to fall in love with me, her life turned to misery. No, I didn't regret it. Disclaimer, this is not my story time, was sending me on Instagram. One day I went up to my sister and told her that her boyfriend had kissed me. First she thought I was making it up to make her jealous. Told me I could never compete with her and that she was the more beautiful sister out of the two of us. Which is wrong. So I handed her my phone so that she could see all the messages that her boyfriend and I had been sending each other. And that's when she lost it. She started wailing on me. She started slapping and kicking me. My parents ran into her room and asked her what was wrong. I told my parents that I treated my sister the way she treated me. She would always go after my boyfriends, flirt with them, and try to get them to break up with me. Of course, my parents didn't agree with me, so they were really angry. They separated us, but my sister went crazy. She called her boyfriend and told him to come over. Obviously, he didn't know that she already knew at the time. And when he came over, she started
Am I the asshole for refusing to give my husband the new Wi-Fi password? Disclaimer, this is not my story. My husband, 30 male, and I, 32 female, are going through some financial struggles right now. The reason for that is because my husband lost his job. He didn't earn much anyway working retail, being overworked and underpaid. He said the reason he lost his job was because of his narcissist boss. Money is tight and the load fell on me completely to provide for us and pay for everything, including Wi-Fi. He promised to look for a job though. My husband started spending most of his time on his phone. I kept asking if he was looking for a job and he'd say yes, but it's been 3 months now. I grew suspicious because retail jobs are easy to find. On the other hand, I found myself paying so much for Wi-Fi service because of his endless activities on the internet. I didn't say anything until I ran into his former boss at the supermarket. We talked about my husband and I brought up how he fired him. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my husband the new Wi-Fi password? Disclaimer, this is not my story. We talked about my husband and I brought up how he fired him, but he looked at me confused and told me he didn't fire him. My husband quit on his own after giving him a long rant about how he was sick and tired of working retail and that he will never work in this field again. I went home and confronted him. He admitted that it was true and asked me to understand because he was fed up with having to work as a server for rude, obnoxious people who don't respect him. I asked him what he was going to do. He said he was thinking of going back to school to earn a degree and work a decent job. I said, where would he get the money to go back to school? He shrugged and said I could start a fund for him with my salary because, like he said, he would no longer work retail. I laughed at him and told him I won't save money for anything when I can barely manage. And that I was losing so much money on Wi-Fi, so I changed the password, prohibiting him from using the internet again until he started helping pay for it. He got mad and shouted about how I was robbing him of his rights to use the internet. I said the internet is a privilege, not a right. Am I the asshole for filing a noise complaint about a single mom with a newborn? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I, 26 female, live in an apartment. I'm a resident in a medical profession and I work 100-hour weeks plus a lot of additional hours of studying and paperwork. I hardly sleep as is. I can't wear earplugs because I need to be able to hear my phone when on call or if I'm called about a patient under my care. This happens frequently and I never turn my phone off and only update it when I'm at work. Just for an idea about how Am I the asshole for filing a noise complaint about a single mom with a newborn? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I've tried talking to my neighbor directly to ask if she could stop walking around her whole apartment or maybe if there could be some soundproofing done. I've tried sleeping on my couch, which is better, but she walks the baby around the apartment. Every time I've had the chance to go to her apartment, she's got a note about the baby sleeping and please don't knock. I don't have her number or other ways to contact her and I feel weird about leaving a note and want to address her in person. So I spoke to my landlord Friday evening. I was very clear that I'm not trying to blame her, I just wanted to know if there could be some soundproofing done or something. They said they would look into it. Saturday I was sleeping and I woke up to pounding and screaming. The mother was furious with me and kept screaming about how I'm selfish and trying to kick out a single mom. I kept trying to explain, but she and the baby just kept screaming. I was exhausted and just screamed back. I told her the baby is so loud she might cost me my job and that I can't function anymore because of her and that soundproofing isn't the end of the world.
Am I the asshole for calling my fiancé a jerk? Disclaimer, this is not my story. My 28 female fiancé, 38 male, proposed to me last week. We've been dating for 2 years. He has a 15-year-old daughter from a previous marriage. Her mom passed away 5 years ago and I have a 6-year-old son. When my fiancé and I started to date, I noticed that his daughter had the master bedroom. I found it weird because I've never seen a child taking over the master bedroom before. He brushed it off saying the house was hers so it was normal. Am I the asshole for calling my fiancé a jerk? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I said it wasn't fair he called it his daughter's house when we're about to get married. And that he's supposed to adopt my son, so now the house should be theirs and not only hers. I also said I wanted his daughter out of the master bedroom because it's ours. He said the house really belonged to his late wife and when she passed, the house became his daughter's. He has enough money for 60% of the house, but we will have to pay off the rest together. I said that he could ask his daughter for the house because she's only 15 and he is her dad, but he said no, that it's his daughter's. I got upset and called him a jerk because he should have told me the truth. He said that it's not like we will be homeless or anything. He said he's always known that he has to move out and that's why he saved. I asked what else belonged to his daughter that I didn't know of and he said the car that I always use will be hers when she leaves for college. I called him a jerk again and left with my son to my parents' house. When I told my family, my brother laughed because I talked and acted like a gold digger and called me an asshole.